This transformer did something nobody expected. I was testing a simple EI transformer, and something happened that shouldn't be possible. What you're about to see wasn't expected, and it changes everything about this experiment. For this test, I intentionally rewound the transformer coil. The previous square core model reacted too slowly, so I redesigned the winding to get a faster and cleaner response on the EI core. Inside the EI core, the coil is built in 3 layers. The first layer is 300 turns wound clockwise. On top of that, I added another 300 turns counterclockwise. And finally, the outer layer is the 480 turn output coil. This circuit is the heart of the entire project. AC doesn't flow in one direction. It reverses at 60 Hz, producing 60 positive half cycles and 60 negative half cycles every second. Each channel carries only one direction of the AC waveform. The AC input reverses direction at 60 Hz. So the current flows alternately through 2 half cycles, the positive half cycle and the negative half cycle. This is exactly why I wound the coil as 2 separate layers inside the core. I wanted to split these 2 half cycles into 2 independent channels, so the coil would be excited alternately by each one. Before running any tests, I want to briefly show how this system was built. The most challenging part of the entire build was winding the coil inside the EI core. It had to be extremely precise every turn, every layer, and the tension of the wire all mattered. Here is the complete system I built. The transformer, the rectifier, the diode network, the AC input section, and the load control. Everything works together in this setup. This is the physical implementation of the dual-channel AC drive system I explained earlier. What's really surprising here is the output. Even though I wound the transformer coil in my own unconventional way and used a diode network to split the AC into 2 channels, the system still produces a clean, stable sine wave output. Honestly, the result is better than I expected. And this is the full system. Every part of the dual-channel AC drive is right here. Now it's time to test the output. We'll be running a full sequence of 13 test points to track how the output changes step by step. This is the first point of the output test. We're measuring the coil's raw output voltage and checking how it behaves with the motor load connected. Test point 2. The motor load is now active. We're measuring how the coil's output changes and how much voltage the motor actually receives. Point 5. The load is unchanged, but the transformer input is raised by 10 volts. And once again, the motor voltages climb higher. Point 7. The load is unchanged, but the input is raised by over 20 volts. Point 10. Same load, higher input. At this stage, the coil output crosses 100 volts and the motor voltage climbs into the 130 range. This is the 13th and final test point. With the motor load unchanged, the output voltage has increased by a total of 42.6 volts. This is a remarkable result. The voltage rise effect is clear, consistent, and unmistakable. Here is the final result chart. Across all 13 test points, the motor load stayed exactly the same. Yet the output voltage continued to rise with every increase in transformer input. From the first point to the last, the motor output climbed by a maximum of 42.6 volts. This confirms the voltage rise effect clearly and consistently. This is a single-run test with the large motor. Even with this heavy load, the transformer drives the motor smoothly, and remarkably, the voltage rise effect still appears. The coil output reaches 100 volts, and the motor climbs to 128. This confirms that the voltage rise behavior holds even on a big motor. Next is an AC fan dot test. The voltage doesn't rise. It drops by 3.8 volts. The coil stays at about 100 volts, but the fan load pulls the voltage down to 96. This shows that the rise effect isn't universalite. Changes depending on the load. Final test, and here the voltage falls. After a long series of rising output, this last step shows a clear drop, indicating the upper boundary of the voltage rise effect. Across all 13 test points, the output voltage rose by 42.6 volts under the same DC motor load. The big motor test showed the same behavior, proving that the rise effect scales to heavier DC loads. But in the AC fan and LED tests, the voltage dropped instead, revealing that this phenomenon is load-dependent and appears only in DC systems. After seeing these consistent patterns, I've decided to name this behavior the JS transformer effect. DC motors rise, AC loads drop. The JS transformer effect is real and repeatable, and today I'm giving it its name. But one question remains. Is the output power greater than the input? That answer comes in the next video. Thanks for watching today's experiment. If you'd like to follow the progress, feel free to like and subscribe.